As a poet, I sort of put things in a little different language, a little quicker language, and through the years, I've seen the lecturers and the scientists, and I've made friends with Colin Campbell, and I sit with meals with him, and I shorten his books into short little stanzas, and I'm intrigued with the scientist. He somewhat puts up with the poet. So if Colin's here, I want to get up for a second, and he's gonna give me, none of this is rehearsed, so let's hear it for Dr. Campbell. And, there's the linear and the lateral, and we spend too much time in one place or another, and he's intrigued with my shorthand. I'm a little intrigued with his longhand, and so we're none of this is like rehearsed. I work with young kids, and I always ask them, give me an idea, something you like, dislike, something you've seen, heard, or something that bothers you. And he's a little smarter than me, but he knows how to dumb me down a little bit. And since I work with grade school kids, I give messages about third grade. So dumb yourself down for a second. So give me a random thought, something that you think we could massage into a short little...
Yeah, first I'd like to say I've always enjoyed coming here from year to year, and one of the treasures that I hold dear actually is coming and meeting Blair. He's quite a character, as many of you may know. A bit challenging at times, I can also say that. But I wanted to give him a couple of words to think about, to show a side of him that I really have always been quite impressed about, quite frankly. Given the circumstances of the last week or two, more on the serious side, I'm going to give you two words.
Okay.
Teenager and courage.
And I appreciate you saying that, because I've heard the gal say the BS. So I'm going to say the BS with a little food and a little courage. The poet was the singer and the science was the truth, but the book was outdated and the courage was so blue, with these shooters and these haters and these gangsters and these thugs, these teenagers and this BS and this food that is love. The food speaks of magic, but magic is often green, but they don't have the food markets and they've never really seen. So the courage is not the gangster, it's not the poet or the thug, it's not even the scientist, it's the teenagers in between what is love. So the courage is the BS, and people often lie, and people often wonder, and they simply want to cry. Give me something. Thank you for saying that, because I work with kids, and I think if you put a blueprint from young, it's all good. We wouldn't need to do the work that we do if we can put the blueprint early. So give me something else, something you've seen this week, or something that just stresses you out. Because I find him a very unadversarial guy, but he wrote a book that actually has controversy. So give me something that they don't know that you've been involved in that just maybe makes you mad, or a controversy that you did not need to interject yourself into.
Let me take the opposite side, a couple of words opposite. You just said them. Kindness and controversy.
The kindness was the scientist, but the scientist wrote a book, but the controversy was the poet and how the teacher often looks. The scientist was the madman, it's the person that often lies, and the engineer and the poet, and once again the people that often cry. So the controversy is not hip-hop, and hip-hop is not love, but in between the book are the words that spell this love. So the arguments are this controversy, and controversies are also true. And then his next book and his next poem will tell you all what to do. One more quick thing. Come on, give us something else, something that they don't know about. Just anything.
Well, let me throw out a word. It's hard to challenge. I mean, it's hard for me to, I want to come up with a different word. Reductionism. New word.
He said he doesn't like that word. And I don't know what it damn means. But So reduce is like a level, and a level is like air, because it's like the food that we drink, the things we do not share. The reduction is the words, and the words need not rhyme. It's the book that's not ever written. It's in perfect cadence time. So you reduce because you argue, and argue because you live, and then you reduce and reduce, but you're unable to give. You stop and you listen to wonder, and you wonder and you care, and you're reduced to nothing, and that's really when you share. So, we're going to keep moving. Thank you.